Hey everyone, I sent a YouTube video to Mrs. Lee that I had made a few years ago that explains the diagonal grid. So if you need a refresher on how to do that, you can watch all or part of that video. Annika, I started yours last week as an example, and you're welcome to just use the example for your drawing so you don't have to redo the grid. But if you'd like to redo the grid, there's extra paper and printouts of your photo there for you to use too. So what I'm going to show you right now is how to finish your outline. I drew this way darker than you'd want it to be. I just drew it dark enough so that you guys could see it in the video, but like I said last week, it's important to use either a 2H or an H pencil for the grid and this initial outline step, because we're not going to want the outlines of the picture to show up on the final picture. We're going to want to create value and form using shading next week. And so if the outlines are too dark, they're going to flatten your picture and make your person look two-dimensional instead of how the shading will make it look three-dimensional, which is what we want. So today also use your 2H or your H pencil to excuse me, to create the outlines. And so what you're going to do, a lot of you kind of got started on the face and the body shape last week. So today you're going to want to fill in the rest of the features of the face and get those details outlined so that next week, Lord willing, when I'm there with you, I'll be able to show you how to shade it all and make it look three-dimensional. So this is one that I started of Gracie. What I had showed last week was that when you're ready to create the outline, you want to look for where the people's or your self-portrait, you want to look for where the parts of the face cross a line on the grid. So as I hold this up, you can kind of see the shine from the pencil there. Her head is crossing, for example, right here. So I made a little mark here where it crosses a line, a little mark here where it crosses a line, a little mark here, and I can start to see the shape the outline takes. I also did that inside on the shape of her face. So wherever her head is showing and the hair is not, I made little marks too. So then I was able to make those same marks on my gridded paper, and it's kind of like connect the dots. So you're just going from dot to dot and creating the shape. You can also look at the empty space. So I'm noticing that like this part of her head creates this shape within that rectangle, and I can look at what's left over so that when I draw that to connect the lines, I'm going to want to try to create that same shape in there. Okay, the same exact thing goes for the features. You'll notice that I made my grid pretty small around her eyes, and I could probably have even done it one more time, 1X, and a line through it, and another line through that, if I wanted to get a little better idea of exactly where her eye is in that spot. But I do it the same exact way for the facial features, and you're just going to make a little outline. I notice that the top of her eye crosses right here, the bottom is right here, and that's where another little bit of detail in the grid would probably be helpful to show me exactly where that sits. But but I'll make some marks for even how wide her eye is, and then I can transfer those to my paper so I can see that it is right here where her eye is. This is about how wide it is. This is about where the corner of the eye comes into place. So now all I need to do is look at the shape of her eye to outline that in there. And like I said, next week we'll be doing all the shading, so you don't need to worry about too many of the details this week. We're just trying to get an outline of where things are at. And I can do the same thing to find the bottom of the nose. So her nose hits about right here. And just start to make a general rough, light sketch of where things are landing within your drawing, okay? So hopefully by the time I see you next week, you'll have been able to get your picture outlined, and then you'll be ready to shade it. So you guys can kind of see I've just roughed in some of her facial features to start, and you would do it much lighter than I just did, but that's the idea today, get the outline of everything. Okay, thanks guys. Hope to see you next week. Bye.